right, guys. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I hope that your day's just going well. For me, it's been kind of hectic. Walking this Christian race, or walking the race, running this race, walking this thing out, it gets difficult. Things get hectic, and really, it's God shaping us. So many times we end up just kind of looking at the problem and we kind of freak out and we don't focus on the one who can fix it. We say we do, but we really don't. And I wanted to talk to you guys real quick. You may have heard the story about the potter and the clay. I just want to go over that real quick. It's in Jeremiah 18, verse 1. It says, "The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I will let you hear my words. So I went down to the potter's house, and there he was working at his wheel. And the vessel he was making of clay was spoiled in the potter's hand, and he reworked it into another vessel, as it seemed good to the potter to do." Now, I don't know if you guys have ever seen how someone actually makes a pot out of clay or what have you. It comes in a form that just isn't valuable or useful to the potter. The potter has to take it from this original form that it came in and shape it into something beautiful, shape it into something worth using, shape it into something that will be good for someone else to have, because you want to give that piece of pottery to someone else because they'll be able to use it. Maybe you want to put stuff in it. Maybe you want to use it to fill up water, whatever. You have to shape it. And the way clay comes, it comes in this little ugly little gunk of clay, and it's just a big glob. And as the potter takes it and adds a little bit of water to it and starts to turn that little wheel on and it starts spinning, he has to slowly start shaping it. And it takes a while to start to smooth out the sides. It takes a while to make that inside, like give it a little indent in there so that you can start to kind of bring up the sides so that you can bring it out and just shape into whatever it is that you want to be. And it becomes something beautiful. It becomes something that you would want to show off to someone else. And looking at that, thinking about that, I just think of how we look at the process of our lives, whatever God is calling you to, or whatever struggles that's going on in your life. We look at the problem, and we're like, God, just fix it. But we don't think about the fact that God needs to shape us and mold us so that we can do what he wants us to do, right? He's not a genie. We look at God and we're just like, just fix this, do this, and everything will be good. And he's like, okay, cool, but it starts with you. He needs to change the way you think. He needs to change the way you do things, because 9 times out of 10, I counsel people daily, and 9 times out of 10, as I listen to their problems, whether they have problems with their parent, their spouse, their kids, whatever it is, 9 times out of 10, I always see that they have like the wrong mindset. They want the other person to change, but they continue to remain the same. But we aren't perfect. We have to allow God to shape us, make us, and just mold us into who he's created us to be. So many times we have a bad temper. When someone comes at us and they irritate us, we kind of blow up. Whether it be a spouse, kids, whoever, or maybe we nag. Maybe we just nag our kids all the time and they don't even want to talk to us. They don't even want to share the things that they're going through or dealing with because, we've just, kind of turned them off to that. Or maybe, you're having problems with your parent, and you want things to change, but we don't want to make the hard decisions. The hard decisions of maybe there needs to be healthy boundaries. The hard decision of, well, maybe I need to stop enabling this person. Or the hard decision of, maybe this is a codependent relationship. we have to allow God, we have to allow God to first change us. And the awesome thing about allowing God to shape us is those things around us don't bother us the way they normally do. Seriously. I mean, everything could be the same, or everything could seem the same. People still act the same. People still treat us the same. But as we allow God to shape us and transform us into the men and women that He's created us to be, those things don't bother us, because you know what? Our mindset is different. Now we have sympathy or empathy for them. Now we can see that that person is broken and hurting, but we can only see that when God begins to heal us, because we're always trying to point the blame on other people. Maybe not intentionally, but a lot of times that's exactly what we're doing. And we need to allow God to fix us before He goes off and starts doing all this other stuff. It always starts with us. Always. For a while growing up, I saw a counselor. I was just so angry. And I'm like, my dad won't change. This is just who he is. We can't have a conversation. We can't even talk to each other because he doesn't listen. He won't listen to me try to explain how I feel. I'm sharing these things, but all he wants to do is just, counteract that and say, well, you need to do this, you need to change that, and everything will be better, right? And so it's two people bumping heads, trying to gain territory to say, you know what, you're going to do this and everything will be better after you do this. But we really have to say, you know what can I change about myself? God, what is it that I need to allow you to get in there and allow you to start fixing and molding me? And what are those areas, God? And as we do that, we just start to see just change, and we start to see a transformation, and it's absolutely amazing. Maybe it's not a person that's bothering you. Maybe you're just going through it. Maybe you have personal things going on in your life, and it seems like all hell is breaking loose in your life. You know what? God is shaping you. Maybe God has this, maybe you know the purpose God has for you, the destiny He has for you, and it seems like everything that is going on is just going against that, pushing against that. It seems like you're going further away from the promises of God and not closer to them. You know what? God allows things in our life to shape us. If He wants you to renew your mind, and maybe for you to stop having a bad temper, He'll put a whole bunch of people that drive slow in front of you, right? I mean, it's the little things in our daily life, God uses to transform us, and I was listening to a sermon earlier this morning as I was walking in the park, and it was a sermon by Steven Furtick. He is amazing. He's out of North Carolina. I believe his church is in Charlotte, and he has several campuses. And he was just talking about, the message was called Don't Stop at 6. Don't Stop at 6. And he was talking about how basically in our lives, he was talking about how, who was it? Man, I forgot. I should have looked it up. I'm having a blank. But they were marching around the wall, right? Around the walls of Jericho. Okay, yes, they were marching around the walls, and God was like, hey, you are going to conquer. You're going to win this, right? And so it was on the 7th time they walked around the walls of Jericho that, they blew the trumpet, they shouted out to God, and the walls fell. Okay, I hope I'm not tearing that story up to pieces. God forgive me. But the point of it was, you may not know how many times you have to go around your problems, your circumstances, your situations. God doesn't necessarily tell you, okay, you got 2 more laps to go. Keep going. The walls are going to come down. Your promise is right around the corner. He may not tell you that you have 1 lap to go. Just keep pushing. I know you don't see any results. I know you don't see anything coming to pass, but just keep going around. He won't tell you that, hey, it's just 1 more step and that thing is here. Because so many times, not so many times, but He wants us to be able to trust Him. He wants us to be able to trust Him, and It's that relying on him. It's that trusting in him with all of our heart that he just does these amazing things in our life. We have to learn to be totally reliant on God. And it's difficult. It's difficult. We are clay in the potter's hands. God is the potter and we are the clay. And we have to allow that process. He may not tell us how much longer we have, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So in your struggle, praise him. In your pain, praise him. In your confusion, praise him. Man, praise tears down walls. Praise just advances us to the things of God. Praise confuses the enemy. When we praise him in our circumstances and all this craziness, man, God just we're giving God the victory. We're giving him the glory. He already has the victory, and it's so many times people just stop short of that finish line. Stop short of the promise because they don't know how much longer they're done. They're tired. They can't move forward anymore. It's just too much, and man, don't give up. Don't give up. God is faithful. He is so faithful and he is so good. We just have to keep pressing towards the mark. All right, guys, up next I have Toby Mac, Till the Day I Die. Enjoy it, guys.
I keep swinging for the fences. It's like this heart is defenseless.